that moves us to the Houston Rockets. Their notable moves include they drafted Jabari Smith Jr. at number 3. They drafted Tyree Eason at number 17. They traded Christian Wood to the Mavericks for Sterling Brown, Trey Burke, Marquise Chris, Boban Marjanovic, and the number 26 pick, which became Wendell Moore Jr. They also created a $3.9 million traded player exception as part of that. Grant, fun fact, did you know that as of right now, unless I'm completely wrong, which is possible, there's not a traded player exception in the league worth $10 million or more at the moment?
Wow.
Right?
Amazing.
I don't know who
make
cares
up our
about that.
trades with all year.
Exactly. So they also, the Rockets, sorry for that little detour, they acquired Ty Washington, the number 29 pick, Minnie's 2025 and 2027 seconds, both unprotected, for the number 27 pick, which was Wendell Moore Jr. that they had gotten in the Mavericks trade. They signed Jae'Sean Tate to a 3-year, $22.1 million deal with a team option on the final season. They did that after declining his initial team option. They agreed to a buyout with John Wall. He gave back $6.5 million. They re-signed Bruno Fernando to an Exhibit 10 deal, and they signed Trevor Hudgens to a 2-way contract. Their notable exits include Trevlin, MVP of the Jalen Brunson League, Queen. He signed a 2-year deal with the Sixers. And then Dennis Schroeder, as of this recording, remains unsigned. What did you give the Rockets? And I bet the thing that I'm going to harp on is the move that you could not guess that I'm going to harp on.
Oh, now I'm intrigued. I gave the Rockets an A. This is one of my only flat A's, and just working big to small again. You could talk me into an A-. So working big to small, I think their draft, like, again, there's some component of luck. I think Smith was just the right guy for them. Had they been in sort of anywhere in the top 5, just like, I think he's the fit. So I like that. I like Eason and Washington. I think both of those guys make sense. Eason especially, I think, is pretty interesting. Getting the first for Wood, getting the Wall buyout, like, that's just, I just love, a little about me. I'm a big fan of just like getting rid of stuff. Like, so I'll go out in my garage and just like therapeutically, it's like, this has got to go. And it doesn't even matter. Like, I might need it in 6 months. I just want it gone because I feel like it complicates my life. I don't want a bunch of stuff. And moving on from John Wall is like, you have cleaned the garage out. Like, because I'm still there, but there's still time to trade him. You've just removed like this thing that doesn't fit, that's got to go eventually. You've done it. It sucks. You got to buy him out, whatever. And then the Jae'Sean deal. I think everyone's comparing it to the contract that Lou Dort got. Not fair. But just like, if the sticker shock of being like total value worth a quarter of what Dort is getting is very appealing to me, and for a sort of similar player. So just in terms of draft, like it. Free agency, I don't know, didn't really do anything, but getting rid of John Wall kind of counts. Trades, like the Wood trade. Signings, like the Tate signing. So just like, as I go down the list, there's not really anything other than not getting something great for Eric Gordon, which they can do at the deadline or whatever. I just kind of like everything they did. There aren't necessarily any home runs here unless you're really big on Smith. But everything just kind of worked, and based on the assets they had, the flexibility they created, I think they did about as well as they could realistically do. And I would love to hear what this move is that you hate so much.
No, love.
Oh, love so much. Great. Let's hear it.
So the only thing I really didn't like about their offseason was there's just like a lack of a pure, properly sized wing. Tyree Eason is it, I would say. Jae'Sean Tate, a little smaller at 6'4". I know he can guard up, but I'm talking more of like the 3-and-D caliber. Eason is he their only option there? I mean, Jalen Green, not a wing. Josh Christopher, not really a wing. I guess Eric Gordon qualifies. They still have Sterling Brown and David Nwaba, but I would have liked to have seen them sort of reallocate some of their, like, they have these, they're like combo forwards or bigs where you're looking at a KJ Martin. And then like they just make the signing of Willie Cauley-Stein was weird, where it's like, well, why not? I'd rather you take a flyer on Yuta Watanabe at this point, something along those lines. So I dung them a little for that. This is all to say I gave them an A-.
Okay, good. I thought you were getting way down there. It's like, who cares if they don't have a wing? This team's trying to win like 14 games this year.
Well, still, like, just balance to the roster a little bit. As it is, though, like, they're going to have a hard time carving out playing time for all these guys. KJ Martin already requested a trade.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
you got to have some real. I envy the level of self-confidence that he has to ask for a trade off the team this bad.
Well, my spicy take would be like, if I were the Heat, I would trade my first-round pick this year for him.
Oh, interesting. That's. Do you think that's what his value is around the league, or you just like the
No, not even. I think he probably would have been traded already if that was his value around the league. Also, one of the things that the Christian Wood trade, I wasn't super impressed with the value, and people took that to mean, well, you didn't watch Christian Wood play this season. And I was like, no, I just thought that they were going to be able to get like a little bit more than a bottom 5 first for him. I think the untold value in that is just you open up a ton of minutes in your front court. Right. Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith Jr., Usman Garuba should hopefully get some run this year. I also think I came away from Summer League lower than I was on Jabari Smith's offense and way higher on his defense.
That's the thing. He's not the kind of player he was necessarily billed as. And I mean, the defense was part of the package, but I think that's his path to like mattering as a rookie is defensively first.
I was asked for one of the mailbags that we did, I don't know, at this point, like a month ago, to give the hyperbolic like player comparison. And so I did hybrid melds. And I said Jabari Smith Jr.'s apex reminds me of like if Kevin Garnett had sex with Chris Middleton. Think about that outcome. The spawn.
Why do you have to get to your hybrid that way? Like, can't we just do it in a lab or something? Like,
okay, the spawn of like crossing the DNA of Kevin Garnett and Chris Middleton.
That sounds like a pretty good player.
I feel like he'll turn out all right.
Yeah, he might be good.
I think there were a couple Rockets fans that were mad I used Chris Middleton instead of Kevin Durant, but what are you going to do?
Right.
So the move that I loved, because I don't really have anything to add to what you said, other than I think this was just I like Eason. I even like Ty Washington. Mm-hmm. I think if they're willing to not invest so much equity, and I'm not as high on Kevin Porter Jr. as everybody, I'd like to see what Ty Washington could do in some of the floor general minutes, or even as the microwave guy off the bench, but not as the microwave guy, more as the Tyus Jones of the bench than the Kevin Porter Jr. But when you look at that deal they made with the Timberwolves, and I triple checked this, so unless I still have something wrong, you traded number 26 for 29 and then 2 Minnesota seconds that are unprotected in 25 and 27 when we're not even sure that Minnesota is going to be really good. What a trade. I'm sorry. That was an incredible trade by the Rockets. Like, I think Ty Washington, he's small, but he plays so much bigger to me on the defensive end. I was like, going through the details of that trade, I was just in awe. And so I liked pretty much everything about their offseason. I would have liked to have seen like more of a wing emphasis where it's not who is the best pure wing on this team. Yeah. It's probably Eason. I probably want someone a little bit more veteran than that, who's not Eric Gordon, who's bigger than Eric Gordon, who's bigger than Jayshawn Tate, who's not Sterling Brown, who's not David Nwaba. It's too hodgepodge is all. But I gave them an A-.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, really, worst case on that, I love that you got so deep in the weeds. You're praising a trade that brought back 2 seconds. But at worst, that's 2 free seconds, because the difference between 26 and 29 is just like, I mean, who cares, right? Like, it just doesn't make, there's nothing. You're getting, maybe those picks are in the 50s if everything works, but maybe they're in the 30s. Like,
I thought it was a really good, probably at the time it looked better because the Gobert trade had not happened at that point, I believe, right? That happened post-draft. Yes, it happened right before. Yeah, it happened in July. What is time anyway? So like it probably looked a lot better. Yeah. But like just who's to say the track record suggests that Minnesota might not be elite. And so that 2027 second, we're talking about an older Rudy Gobert. That might be his free agent. Like after he's a free agent in
4 years.
When he picks up his player option, he will be a free agent in 26. So it's the year after that. So I just thought that was just this small trade that made a lot of sense. So A- for me on the Rockets.
All right. That's what the people come for. That level of detail.